Hi, welcome to our home bar and welcome to our YouTube channel, Wise Whiskey. I'm Tony, and today I'm doing a blind that was picked by my daughter, Emmy. And all I told her were two rules. One, it had to be whiskey, and two, she had to pick the four coolest bottles she thought that I had. So her and her mom picked these out, and then her mom poured it for me and wrote it down so that Emmy can reveal the results here at the end. So all I know is that I've got four whiskeys in front of me. I told Emmy that it could be whatever her definition of cool was, whether she thought the bottle was neat, the label, the name, whatever. So the four coolest whiskeys I own. That's going to be what we're blind tasting today. So let's start with number one. Okay. Got some, I'm guessing this is a rye or a rye blend. Definitely got a little bit of the spice and kind of herbal notes that you get from rye. Maybe a little bit of that bubble gum. There is some like brown sugar in there, I feel like. But yeah, right on the nose, I'd say I think this is probably a rye or a rye blend, but let's give it a shot. This is my first sip of whiskey today. So we'll come back to that one. I don't like to do too much of a deep dive on the first whiskey when I haven't had anything else to sip today. A little bit of our palate cleanser. Okay. Let's go to number two. Okay, this very different nose. I'm thinking this is international whiskey, Irish or Scotch. Some creamy notes in there. Maybe a little bit of fruit. Definitely lighter color to look at. Maybe a little bit of spice as well. Okay. Definitely soft, round, a little sweet. Interesting. A little bit of vanilla creaminess to that. There's a little bit of spice. A little bit of heat, but again, this is only my second sip of the day, so that could just be me getting used to the proof. I'm definitely thinking Irish or Scotch. Right now I'm leaning Scotch. It's not peated. There's just enough kind of proof or spice in there that it's making me wonder if it's got some sherry to it, but I don't know, it doesn't taste. Doesn't have a lot of color to it either. I'm thinking Highland Scotch at the moment, but we're probably gonna have to come back to that one. Our palate cleanser here. Wow, totally different nose. Almost like coconut. Some brown sugar. Yeah, there's like a coconut thing going on there that's really interesting and not a nose that I typically get. Okay. It's got a slightly oaky note up front that goes away to a nice sweetness, pretty mellow. A little bit of spice on the tongue. It's a very, yeah, I wouldn't say overly complex, but a touch of spice and oak up front. A nice little bit of sweetness on the back. Doesn't come across as overly proofy. Doesn't come across as super aged, super complex. Definitely thinking I'm leaning bourbon on that one. So far, I'm thinking rye, scotch, and bourbon. Be very interesting if she managed to pick 4 whiskeys of 4 different styles, unless her mother decided to try to help her out and point her in some different directions. But if that actually happened and it was just because she thought that was the 4 coolest bottles, that would be really interesting. But it does so far seem like 2 American and 1 Scotch, and I am leaning rye on that. But like I said, I'm going to go back and kind of go in a different order after I have the 4th one here. Let's go to number 4. See, this smells like we're back in the Irish Scotch territory. This seems to have a little bit of brine to it, so a little bit of a maritime or coastal note. I'm not getting any peat. Very subtle. Just a touch of that barley kind of malty must that you get with some scotch. There's a little bit of salinity. There's a little bit of sweetness to that. And just a touch of heat. I'm thinking that this could be classic laddie. And I'm thinking that because it's a really... So Bruichladdich Classic Laddie comes from Islay, which is known for their peated, intense whiskeys. But the Classic Laddie is unpeated, so you don't get the smoke. But it's a little bit higher proof for a scotch. And you get some funk, and you get some coastal notes still, some brine. And this is definitely that flavor profile. I typically get more funk from it than I am on this, but I haven't had it in a while. And I'm also thinking that because it's a really cool bottle. It's that bright blue one, and I could see that being eye-catching. So I probably, by deciding that this early, have done myself a disservice and made myself focus on the wrong things. But it's the first one I'm really comfortable hazarding a guess on so far. Not that I'm going to try to guess exactly what all 4 of these are, but this is giving me classic laddie vibes. Okay, I'm going to go back to number 1. So definitely some of that rice spice, some of that bubblegum and brown sugar. A little bit of that herbal note in there. It's a relatively subdued kind of caramel sweetness on the palate. There's not a lot of proof there. None of that rye character that I was getting on the nose is there on the palate now. See, I say that and now it is there. Right on the tip of the tongue, I got some herbal notes, some dill. Yeah. Man. I'm going to guess that this is a rye. I don't think it's very high proof. Could be one of my bourbon and rye blends that I have. So far, probably my least favorite of the 4 as well. I will rank them just because, I mean, like I said, the odds of getting these exactly right, not great. If I can get type and get anywhere close on proof, I'm usually pretty happy, to be honest with you, these blinds. But I will rank them as well. Okay. So whereas this number 4 has that coastal, slightly funky note, this is a little spicy, a little sweet. It's a little bit more complex flavor-wise, I think. But I think it's a little less proof than that one. Probably my favorite pour so far. I'm going to have it in first place for now. I have this one in last. Yeah, I'm just... It's an interesting one. I could see that maybe being a blend. It's not super sherry forward. It's light in color. It doesn't give you a lot of fruit, but there's just an interesting spice note. Now that I say that, though, Spice Tree is a great kind of Highland style that gives you a little spice character with it. I'm kind of leaning towards a Highland Scotch. I'm going to say that that's a Highland Scotch. I'm going to hazard a guess that it's Spice Tree, but this could very easily end up being an Irish whiskey or maybe even like a Japanese or Indian whiskey. But I'm going to go Highland Scotch on that one. Okay, number 3. Now see, this just says bourbon to me. It's a little nutty. Some peanut brittle. Some brown sugar. Relatively simple. Not overly complex, but a really pleasant pour. All 4 of these actually taste pretty good. I think today, I think today that's kind of what I would pick second. There's just enough nuttiness and sweetness there to make it interesting. It's very easy drinking. This 4th pour here, that coastal note is nice, but there's just not a lot going on with it today, at least for me. I'm really just getting kind of that coastal note. That could also be the Glenglassaugh Sand End, which is like a uniquely kind of maritime single malt. I'm getting more of that brine now. So I'm going to say that number 2 was my favorite, and I think that was a Highland Scotch. I'm going to guess there's a Highland style blend with some stave and stuff finishing called a Spice Tree from Compass Box. I'm going to guess that. My second place was this bourbon. You know, it was a little nutty, sweet, easy drinking. I really can't even begin to guess what bottle I think this one is. But I do think it's a nice bourbon. My third place would be number 4, which is definitely a maritime influenced Scotch. I'm going to stick with my guess of Classic Laddie, although I could see it being Glenglassaugh Sand Inn as well. And then last, I'm going to have number 1, which I think is a rye. I think it's a relatively simple rye. But yeah. So Amy, do you want to go over the results with me and let me know what we got here? So last place was number 1. So what whiskey was bottle number 1?
Kentucky Straight Malted
Malted rye? Okay. So you know what? This is the New Riff Malted Rye. And you know what, Emmy? This is a cool bottle. I agree with you. It's a cool looking bottle.
It looks like fire.
When I first, it looks like fire.
Yeah.
That's
when I looked at it, it reminded me of like a Stranger Things.
That's cool. So, when I first got it and smelled the bubblegum note really came through for me. I didn't get the 100 proof or the 6 years this time. The first couple times I've tried this bottle, it came across as more complex. I think it might have been having it alongside what I think are a couple scotches and stuff. It just didn't shine. But the first couple times I've tasted this, it's done really well in blinds and just tasted delicious. It was still really nice today. It just, for whatever reason, didn't come across as complex. So number 1, New Riff Malted Rye. So at least I was in the right category by guessing we were a rye. Okay, number 4 I thought was Bruichladdich Classic Laddie. I think this is a scotch that's got some maritime influence for sure. So what was bottle number 4? The Bunnahabhain 12? Oh, right here. Okay. Got a unique little bottle, right? So this is interesting. Bunnahabhain 12, also an unpeated whiskey from Islay. So the maritime influence and the unpeated Islay, I actually wasn't far off on. This is a little less proof than the Bruichladdich Classic Laddie. And this is a sherried whiskey. And I wasn't getting much sherry on this today. I guess I get some, it's so funny once you smell something and you know. There's maybe a little bit of fruit in there. That did not come across nearly as sherried as normal. And that seawater note was just super strong today. But I got to tell you, I mean, there's really only 2 well-known unpeated whiskeys coming from Islay. And it's Classic Laddie and Bunnahabhain 12. So I don't feel terrible about that one either. I was actually kind of close. Okay, so in second place, I thought it was a bourbon with a little bit of a nutty profile. That was number 3. What was number 3? Joseph Magnus. Okay, this is a beautiful bottle. I agree with you. I think the bottle and label for Joseph Magnus is great. So for me personally with Joseph Magnus, this is like a $90 bottle. I think it's was it straight bourbon, finished in sherry and cognac cask. It's 100 proof. It's a pleasant sip of whiskey. For me, the Joseph Magnus, I just do not get the multiple cask finish in this. I don't get the cognac and sherry character in there at all, frankly. And it just doesn't drink like a $90+ bottle. It is awesome looking on the shelf. And it is a fine sip, but man, I just don't get the complexity or the character that I expect. And I don't know if Joseph Magnus is really batchy or if other people would agree with that. But man, this was a gift and I was really excited to get it. And I was super excited. And honestly, it's been a little bit of a letdown. As you can see, I've had it for a while now. I haven't drank a lot from it because I don't get a ton of complexity from it. But another great bottle. Really, really like that choice as well. Okay, and this was a bourbon. It's non-age stated, so not overly old, and 100 proof, so nothing too crazy. So I'd also, like I said, I didn't go into a ton of specifics with this one, but I'm not mad that I got, that we were kind of a run-of-the-mill bourbon. I agree. That's how this one drinks for me anyway all the time. So I don't feel too super foolish yet. So this last one here, this was our second pour. This was what I thought was my favorite. Again, I thought this was probably a Highland Scotch. I'm not as confident about that because there were some spice notes. So I said my guess was Compass Box Spice Tree. But what did we have for number 2?
It was Bruichladdich.
This is the Bruichladdich Classic Laddie?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You can obviously see why I chose that one.
This is such a cool bottle. I totally get you seeing it. I cannot believe that. Wow. I got. Man. I get almost none of the funk. Even retrying it now. This just is not coming across like Classic Laddie had for me in the past. I'm pretty blown away by that one. I love that without having any clue what you were doing, you picked the 2 unpeated Islay whiskeys. That's Really funny, sweetheart.
And mom didn't help me at all. I literally was just picking.
Okay, good.
Like,
So yeah, I don't see. I can get the there's almost like a cheesy note that comes with Bruichladdich, and I kind of get it now that I'm really looking for it. But I can see why I was confused, because it doesn't have the peat. I'm not getting sherry, but I'm just not getting that Isla kind of maritime thing either that I typically do with this. And that funky note that's usually there just isn't there today. It's sipping really great today. This is typically what a lot of people will call like, in particular, like G Whiskey is a YouTube channel I love if you want to learn about Scotch. And Jeff on G Whiskey calls this a challenging whiskey, and it's one of his favorites. And it can be challenging. It can be really funky and strange. And it's not so much today. I'm getting a little bit more of that funk now that I'm really looking for it. But I think the reason I had the hardest time with this is because I wasn't getting sherry and I wasn't getting peat. But I wasn't getting a lot of other like defining characteristics that would give you a typical region. And that kind of does make sense with Bruichladdich Classic Laddie, because it doesn't have typical marks from like a specific region. It's a very unique whiskey. Very rarely would Classic Laddie be my number one ranking whiskey in a blind, particularly when like I like Bunnahabhain 12 and I love this New Riff Malted Rye. Kind of blown away that Bruichladdich came out ahead. I'm just kind of I'm happy with overall classification. Can't believe I missed the mark. There's always at least one that you miss and just end up looking silly with. And Classic Laddie was definitely that one today. That one got me. Overall, also, Emmy, just so you know, I don't know that I love the Bunnahabhain bottle. Did you like the bottle or the name?
both.
The Bunnahabhain name is pretty cool.
I like it because it's small and like there's just like a little like picture.
Just kind of simple and dark and okay. These, I think, are three of the coolest looking bottles I have. I definitely agree with you on those. But you picked a great blind, Emmy. I appreciate you helping me out this evening. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed watching this. Like always, there's at least one bottle that made me look like I had pretty much no idea what I was talking about, which is why we do blinds. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Please, in the comments, if you have any thoughts about Classic Laddie or New Riff, if you've tried the Joseph Magnus and you think that I'm wrong and you are someone who loves the Joseph Magnus, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you want to support the channel and help us out, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. That's the best way you can help us out. As always, please drink responsibly, drink respectfully. Most of all, have fun doing it. Thank you for joining us today. Cheers.